Continuing on with JPR number 4, you'll note a lot of similarities between JPRs 3 and 4. The difference is in JPR 3, we were dealing with the hazardous material that was burning, and in 4, we're dealing with a spill. So you'll notice that the 6 steps are essentially the same, but where this differentiates is some of your pertinent data from the ERG, your STS, and your plan of action. So to recap, the task you're given is given an example of a scenario provided by your proctor involving a known hazardous material, meaning they're going to give you a known material, they're going to give you the name of it. Interpret the hazard and response information obtained from the current edition of the Emergency Response Guidebook, the ERG, and a safety data sheet, the SDS. So to reiterate, walking in on test day, if you're familiar with the ERG and what you're doing with that, and what you're doing with an SDS, and how to apply the incident management system, those 3 pieces are going to apply and carry you through any scenario they throw at you. It could be something real small, like a drum, or it could be something larger, like a train derailment or a tanker on its side. Doesn't matter. As it relates to state operations, you'll be applying the same principles. You have 30 minutes to accomplish this as a team of at least 2. Again, no safety failures. Your proctors are more than likely going to give you the same material in this hands-on scenario as they gave you for the SDS exercise, and then we'll provide you with an ERG. So again, task steps for a hazardous material scenario involving a spill or leak. So this time it's not on fire. You may remember from your ERG studies that there are 2 different isolation distances, and there are some different procedures we take if something is on fire as opposed to just off-gassing or spilled. So that should kind of cue you to the section you're looking for in that ERG in those orange pages. So step 1, we're going to initiate the incident management system according to the NIMS, the National Incident Management System. So that simply means identifying our initial roles based on who we have on scene and who we can get coming. So requesting additional resources, identifying the steps in that NIMS process that need to be eventually put in place. Somewhere in that, mention that you're going to develop an incident action plan, an IAP. They're not looking for you to develop a plan of action that's going to carry you all the way through to completion. They're looking at you being the first in company, first in personnel on this leak. What is your plan? Simply setting up a command structure, developing that IAP, and getting additional resources coming is sufficient at the operations level. Next up, we want to identify what is the container behavior. Can we identify what kind of container we have and what it's doing? Does it look like it's dented? Does it look like it's venting? Does it look like it's just leaking a liquid onto the ground? What is it doing? What kind of container do we have and what is it doing? Hand in hand with that, what is the material doing? Based on what the material is doing, what product control measures can we use? Review your product control chapter. Take a look at damming, diking, diverting, retention, vapor suppression, blanketing, all those concepts that have been covered in the course of the class or will be are all fair game if they are applicable. Are we going to set up overflow, underflow dams? Are we going to simply set up a retention pond? Are we going to put out tank traps to try to retain some of that product? What is our plan? As long as you're hitting some appropriate measures, you'll be perfectly fine in that step. Always come up with an alternative plan. So step 5, describe alternative plan. Act as if your first plan is not going to work. So verbalize to your proctors, write down on the worksheet, do it both ways. Say, my plan A is this. We're going to set these measures in place. Should those measures not work, my plan is X. Next up, describe the process to secure the scene and preserve evidence? What is your plan to isolate that area and make sure you don't have civilians going in and out, responders going where they shouldn't be? And what is your plan to preserve evidence to that area? It's simply isolating and denying entry to the area. Just say how you're going to achieve that. Is it with the support of the police department coming out and helping you with a cordon? Is it additional fire resources or county resources? Just make sure you verbalize something about securing that scene, how you're going to do it, and your plan for preserving evidence. Attached with JPR 4 is the worksheet, and we'll cover that in the next video.